An important milestone in the game's life cycle is coming for the Settlers' new allies, and with that we're gonna take a look at the early stages of development, the launch of the game with its free updates that came after, and we'll answer the question about where the game is now and whether it's worth considering in its current stage. This is the Honest Settler, and without further ado, let's get into it. The release of the Settlers' new allies was firstly set to take place in 2019. But the game development faced various complications. While there was an enthusiastic team of people working on the game, who even invited fans and interested developers inside of the Ubisoft offices to pitch some great ideas, the company took a rather different approach for the game's main focus, moving far from an economy-based city builder to a more typical RTS-styled game. In reaction to those decisions, one of the main creators of the Settlers series left the project to start his own. After that, the studio went a bit radio silent, so to say, during COVID. Later came with a mostly negatively received beta test and then released the unfinished game in February 2023. We can only speculate on what kind of bureaucracy-based decisions stood behind this release, but let's see what happened next. While the graphics, sound effects and animations were amazing and really felt like the game was made by a AAA company, the gameplay and mainly the stability and content of the game was a bit lacking, to say the least. The game's greatest appeal is multiplayer, at which I dare to say it excels in its own unique way, but the servers and matches were unstable, game was constantly crashing, statistics were not saved, and the reviews of the game quickly became overwhelmingly negative. With slow but steady updates, Ubisoft managed to get the game into a somewhat playable state within a few months. After which, the game was released on console platforms, which brought its own set of issues as well as a wider audience. But the studio behind the game kept on working despite the negativity on their shoulders. A few months later, during summer, they've released the first free content update, which brought new maps, balancing, new production chain and a summer festival called the Festival of Flowers. And at the end of the year they've come with yet another free content update, Blessings of the Elders, which brought more maps, new and updated buildings and again some balancing. That was the summary of the development, and that brings us to today. Most of the game's issues are resolved by now, and the community, while somewhat niche, is still going strong. In fact, there will be the biggest tournament within the game in just a few weeks, gloriously called The League. We can only speculate on what's to come in the future. So to conclude this video and answer the question whether the game is worth trying today, you must first understand what you'll be getting. It is a great looking, unique RTS playable on all platforms, with crossplay, amazing PvP battles, and simple yet still challenging economy system. During the release of this video, the game is in a 67% sale, and I can only say that if you like cozy looking city builders / RTS games, you should go ahead, get it and join the community on Discord, because we're there to help you learn and have some fun.